With us now, a family living in the Mooiplaas informal settlement in Centurion here in Gauteng are battling to find closure. Two teenage girls burnt to death in July after the shack they were living in caught fire. To date, the family have been unable to bury one of the victims. She was burnt beyond recognition, and DNA testing to confirm her identity hasn't been done yet. Her family say they've been battling to get assistance. Our senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is tracking that story and joins us now for an update. And Aviwe, this is a terrible situation to be in. The loss on its own is bad enough, but that inability to even try to find closure because there are all these processes outstanding, it makes it even worse.
A real tragedy for the Siapela family. Khomotso Siapela lost two of her daughters in that fire that engulfed her home back on the 4th of July around midnight. She details how then the one daughter died immediately, 18-year-old Matlo Siapela, because of the extensive burning, and one had to be hospitalized, went to ICU, and where she passed on days later. She says then she was told by the police that DNA results would be needed to confirm the identity of the 18-year-old. And she was advised at the mortuary that they should just wait before doing the burial, and eventually they had to bury the 16-year-old on the 18th of July after waiting more than 7 days for that DNA, which were told that in 7 days' time they're expected to get that DNA results. They've still been waiting, Batulas. It's 2 months later now, and this family still hadn't laid to arrest the 18-year-old Matlo Siapela. In fact, I wanted to take a listen to the mother of the two girls just on her visit today at the tragic site of where this happened. Let's take a listen.
But it 7 days. So, in Jerusalem, the DNA. Relbella Sisia Kawalan Gospeten. Soliana Tokofala. After more, manager Wako Musharing, Arbutari. The DNA just 7 days, and then Rema 7 days, Rokono Bablo Kakamuka. So every day, phone about next week, and the police hearing case. Green, our phone, I'm phone our roa, or Rubutar phone too much. So not century Melena. Sometimes Rubutar can not just 6 months. Nagong Rubutar 3 months. Nagong Arabic college are not at all.
And this case, Aviwe, again highlights the DNA backlog. And I know that there's been a bit more that was added. Remember when the floods happened in KwaZulu-Natal in April, there were all those processes where we were told the backlog just increased. As bad as it was, it just got worse. But also another layer to the story is the attitude of the police officers.
The absolute neglect, Batulas. We tried ourselves to even call the investigator today with no luck. We tried to call the mortuary ourselves with no luck as well. But the family is saying that they're even being ignored now. The calls aren't being taken anymore, and this investigator is just neglecting them, basically telling them even in 6 months' time is when they can expect the DNA results. No indication on when they can receive the remains of their daughter. The uncle said that the following day after this tragic incident happened, he went himself to go view the body of the niece. In fact, he says that while it was extensively burned, the face is still recognizable. The body itself is extensively burned, but they could still tell that it is their daughter and their niece. In fact, I want to take a listen to Vincent as he details that visit to the state mortuary.
Nako je ke thoma onya kwa mo recognize or na o ke na ka nnete na ke moni so I guess want to re jeng var DNA ke eng because of batho ba swele ba le two a ke happy ka yona because o mi wan re motsibile hore ke moloko after that ba re botsa hore he tsentse diwe di DNA re try lo phone la Mr Gordon a tsware the phone number ja rena, and I think we're into a wrong.
Sure. So I imagine then, Aviwe, that you've also, in addition to calling the officer and the mortuary, you're trying to at least get some kind of comment from, the higher ups within SAPS. How's that going?
With no luck so far. I'm trying the provincial spokesperson of the Gauteng, the province itself, with no luck so far. But the family really says it just wants the closure of laying their daughter to rest. They say it's been more than 2 months. They don't know where to go from here. They've been waiting in vain, basically, being sent from pillar to post with no clear direction of what happens and when they'll receive those remains. Yeah,
and in fact, I mean, if you think about it practically at a human level, Aviwe, this infringes on their dignity and that ability to mourn their loss. But also at the same time, once you've extracted whatever you need to extract to do a DNA test, surely there must be a practical way to say you don't have to keep this family waiting this long.
Surely there must be, Bratulas, and even just the neglect from the police, because I was even speaking to the uncle and they detail how they were told, even after they saw the body, the face of this 18-year-old, they were told that anything could have happened. They need the DNA confirmation. They said that the other daughter could have been sleeping elsewhere with a boyfriend, for example, and not at their home. Hence, they needed to confirm this. But they were told in 7 days' time is when these DNA results and tests are concluded, and they should get that confirmation within 7 days. It's happened from the 4th of July. It's deep in September now, and yet they're yet to put their daughter to rest.
Yeah, look, I guess you and I can speculate all we want about, not speculate, but rather think about other alternative paths, alternative ways of handling this. For instance, this whole argument about it could have been someone else, that other family would have by now come forward to say, hey, listen, we don't know what happened to this person, do you know, etc., etc. Anyway, Aviwe, thank you for that reporting. Senior eNCA reporter Aviwe Mtila. Look out for more of his reporting.